Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, The Dark Knight Rises Bane. Now, Bane was originally released as a Build-A-Figure from the Dark Knight Trilogy wave, but this is a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive gold label Bane with a cloth soft goods coat. Now I could see some people getting frustrated. You had to collect to build Bane before, and then bam, here he is, for a much cheaper price. But that's just the way the game is. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of this cloth soft goods coat. I don't think it looks very good, but let's see how it is in hand. I ordered this bundle from the McFarlane toy store, and it finally arrived today. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane toys, ages 12 plus. This is part of the gold label collection. A gold label figure simply means it's exclusive. This particular one is exclusive to San Diego Comic-Con and the McFarlane toy store. I really hope they're offered somewhere else or individually. DC Multiverse, Bane. Here he is in the package. Looks like no traditional accessories, but he does have a cloth soft goods coat, and something very interesting. It doesn't look like they come with a collector's card or display stand, and that's the first time in this line. One side of the package, Bane with trench coat from The Dark Knight Rises. Other side simply says Bane. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there is his barcode, in case that helps anybody. And on the back side, here's Bane posed up from the film. So with no further ado, let's open them up. And I did get two of these Bane figures, one of which to open and enjoy, and the other one to keep unopened in my complete Batman-related unopened action figure collection. And I did get the entire bundle from the McFarlane toy store. Unfortunately, this is the only way they offer to get these figures, as I wanted to get some extra Joker as bank robber. If anybody knows where I can get some of those, please drop me a line in the comments below. I actually ordered them from Amazon UK about 2 weeks ago, and they still haven't shipped, so I'm looking for a better spot to get them from. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here he is with all the accessories laid out. He comes with absolutely nothing. I mean, yes, he has the cloth soft goods coat that should be removable, but he doesn't have the extra hands the Build-A-Figure came with. He doesn't have anything. Usually McFarlane at least gives you a collector's card or display stand. I believe this is the first McFarlane DC Multiverse figure ever to not come with either one of those things, except for the Build-A-Figures. They don't come with them because they're just an extra packed-in figure. But I have never seen a figure so bare bone. It was just kind of weird opening the package and not having the collector's card and display stand. Not that I really care. I just put those things in a big pile. But it's just kind of interesting, kind of neat. I wonder if that was an error, if that was intentional. Maybe Bane, he's kind of a larger figure. He was a Build-A-Figure. Maybe they're thinking, we're already giving him a good value. We don't need to include these things. I don't know. It just seems really odd. That being said, this is Bane from The Dark Knight Rises, played by Tom Hardy. Originally, this guy was offered as a Build-A-Figure in the Dark Knight Trilogy wave, but this is a gold label exclusive where you can get the entire figure in one fell swoop. At least in the US, the retail price is $30. In Canada, it seems like you can get it for $20, but that's a conversation for another day. So I'll tell you, I'm a little bit disappointed that there's absolutely nothing different between this guy and the Build-A-Figure. At least I don't believe there is. We'll go into great detail with that later. It'd be nice if something was different, just a little bit. I mean, throw us a bone, make it worthwhile for collectors to get both versions. Yes, we have the coat. I mean, that is quite different. But if you take it off, I think they're going to be exactly the same. So I'll tell you, online I saw a picture of this guy, and when I first saw him on the leaked list, I was excited. Bane with coat, that's going to be awesome. McFarlane sculpting job. But they made it a cloth soft goods coat. And sometimes I like cloth soft goods, sometimes I don't. With Mezco, excellent. Most other companies usually fail. I really did not like the way this looked online. I thought it looked very toyetic, very fake, plasticky. I mean, it's not even plastic, but it just looks too clean. It just doesn't look right. His coat was very grimy, very dirty in the film. Had a very unique look to it. The collar was sticking up. It was very stiff. This just doesn't look right to me. And I'll tell you, in hand, it looks a lot better than it did in the photos. But I still think I stick with my opinion. Now, as far as an overall coat goes, it's awesome. But as far as Bane's coat goes, I don't really like it. Let's take a look. So starting with his face here, he's got that mask there that sort of prevents him from feeling the constant pain he's in. It's strapped around his head, bald, angry. Look at those eyes. I mean, it screams Tom Hardy's Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. Go further down, he's got the sort of vest here, the military outfit. It all looks pretty good. It's kind of hollow here. You can see I can kind of squish it in there. He's got sort of cargo pants here, just like in the film. double jointed knees. I'm sure it's double jointed elbows under here. He comes with 2 fisted hands, which are my hands of choice from the Build-A-Figure Bane, but it would be nice to give some extra options. They were already sculpted McFarlane, not like it's going to have to cost you to sculpt new hands. So then we have the coat. Now, this white part here, this sort of fuzzy furry part, it feels super soft. It's very fun to sort of just rub on it. It's very, very well done, a lot better than expected. The plastic part here, it looks better than it did in the photos, but it still just doesn't look right. It's way too white, clean, and crisp. The collar of the package is down, but yeah, you can pop it up. It just doesn't quite look right to me. I mean, yeah, it captures sort of the essence and the vibe of Bane, but it's just too clean. I think a sculpted cape, or rather coat, would have been a lot better for this Bane figure. They could have given it extra detail, paint detail, wash, some weathering. You can't repaint this thing yourself. Yeah, I'm sure some people are talented enough to make this sort of look dirty and grimy. I mean, it looks good for a coat, but it doesn't look good for the Bane from Dark Knight Rises coat. At least that's my 2 cents. Just looks too clean, too fake. I would have preferred a sculpted, totally different version of Bane for this. I don't know. I mean, I'm so torn on this. I like what they were trying to go for, and it does look good, but just looks off to me. What do you guys think? Drop me a line in the comments below. And just a closer look at his face and head sculpt. It does scream Tom Hardy's Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. The eyes, the mask, the bald head, the coat. But it's a little bit soft at the same time, a little bit bland. I've seen some people do some repaints of the Build-A-Figure Bane and have really brought out some of the details. Like most McFarlane figures, the sculpt is fantastic, but the paint job does not do it justice. I've seen some repaints that really bring out the details. That being said, it's still pretty good for what it is. But you gotta admit, if you look at this guy right now, it brings you into that sort of mood or mode of the Dark Knight Rises, that intimidating Bane expression, that's for sure. And here's an up-close look at this Bane with the Build-A-Figure Jokerized Bane head from the Target exclusive Jokerized Dark Knight Trilogy Wave. Head looks creepy on here, even more so with the coat on. And then here's the figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Yes, the coat is removable. I would recommend taking the hands off before you take the coat off. The hands are also removable, even though he doesn't come with the other ones. Now, you can use the hands from the Build-A-Figure Bane, and we'll check that out in a sec, but it would have been nice if they included hands, display stand, collector's card. I'm not sure what else. Maybe a picture of Harvey Dent that he could hold when he was on top of the tumbler in front of Blackgate. I don't know. Some minor stuff goes a long way sometimes. Just give us something a little bit different besides just the coat. Now let's check out his accessories. And let's start off with his hands. Now let's check out his hands. This figure only comes with 2 hands. One left hand, one right hand, both fisted hands. But if you bought the Build-A-Figure with the Dark Knight Trilogy Wave, you can use the alternate hands to enhance this figure. They are interchangeable with this version as well. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. These are the only hands that this particular version of Bane comes with. And like I said, he does work with the other Bane hands as well. Here he is with the gripping hands. And here's his final pair of hands. These are some semi-open hands. I call these his victory hands. These are sort of when he has his hands up in the air, like he's intimidating Batman or bragging about himself or whatever. So now let's check out his coat. The coat is going to be the main pull to get people to buy this figure, as the rest of it is exactly the same as what we've received before. Most McFarlane collectors that are going to be getting this probably already have the Build-A-Figure Bane. Now the coat is the only difference, and that is his signature look in the film, so it's pretty cool to have both versions. Now the coat itself is actually very nice, but I don't think they did a good job of capturing exactly the look from the film. Collar's big, does kind of go off to the sides, but I feel like maybe it should be a little bigger. Maybe I'm crazy, I don't know. It was really, really unique and distinct in the film. I actually just sort of checked it out last night. The coat was only in 2 real major parts of the film. The part where Bane blows up the football stadium, and then when he frees all the inmates from Blackgate Prison. Yeah, he had it on a couple other times later, but for the most part, those are the big scenes he wore it in. Now, the white, very soft, feels really good, but it's just too clean. It didn't look like this in the film. It was kind of dirty, kind of worn. It just looks kind of fake being this white, like it's brand new off the shelf. Now the outside, I don't know, it's some sort of vinyl or something, a little bit shiny, and his coat was not like that at all. Not glossy. It was really dull, very stiff looking, leathery, very dirty. I don't know. The coat is fantastic, but I just don't think it's a very good Bane coat. It looks good, and it looks good on Bane, but it doesn't really look like from the movie exactly. I don't know. Too clean, too sort of fake looking. But it is a really, really nice action figure coat. On the inside, it's a soft black piece here. You can see the stitching all over it. You can see the same stitching from the back side. Like I said, it's a really, really nice action figure coat, but I don't think it's a very good Bane Dark Knight Rises action figure coat. Here's a McFarlane Bane coat, next to both the Mattel and the Mafex Bane coats. Mattel here on the left. They're both made of sort of a rubbery, bendable plastic material. You can see the fur. It's a lot darker, dirtier. Don't get me wrong, the detailing is not fantastic on this Mattel figure, but I don't know, something about it just feels a little more right to me. And the Mafex one, still you can see the fur, whatever, really dark, really dirty, sort of dingy, made of the same kind of bendable material. Detailing a lot better than the Mattel version. The McFarlane one is a fantastic coat. I just feel like it didn't hit the mark as far as being a Bane coat. Here's Bane without the coat on, and then here's Bane with the coat on. I appreciate what they were going for, but I feel like they didn't quite achieve the goal. They fell short a little bit. And here's Bane holding his coat, his signature pose in The Dark Knight Rises. And for them to include the coat and not include the hands that grip the coat is just a criminal shame. And I was wondering if there were any differences at all between the new Bane figure and the Build-A-Figure Bane, besides the coat, and there are none. Here's the new one, here's the old one. Their head, exactly the same. I mean, the paint job is maybe a little bit more green on the undershirt here, but that's probably just sort of a factory difference. Absolutely no differences. If I were to mix them up, it'd be a really hard telling which one is which. And just to show you how much he's the same, this is the new one. The arm pops out really easily, just like the Build-A-Figure. Yeah, whatever. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing at about 7.4 inches tall, which can translate to just under 19 centimeters. Now this is a tall, intimidating, massive Bane, and for that I am thankful. He's bigger than Batman. Now in the movie, Tom Hardy was not as big as Christian Bale, but they sure made it seem like he was. Different camera angles, making him intimidating. Very happy to have a big Bane to beat up Batman. Now for his articulation. Starting with his head here, of course, you can rotate from side to side. He can look up about that far, down about that far. Very good range of motion there. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes up about 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got a butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest area. Increase the range of motion at least a little bit and cover up that large gap. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows go all the way in. His wrist can rotate. It's going to be hinged as well, but that's not going to happen unless you swap out that peg. His torso, the soft goods overlay, it looks kind of cheap. Very squishy, not a huge fan of kind of how that works. He's got a ball joint in his waist, rotate around, forward and back, and any articulation under here, it's really kind of pointless. You're going to have a really hard time getting any of it to stick. Legs, complete as a splits, not a ball joint, McFarlane style hip joints. They go forward, really not that much, and back not much either. Rotation's non-existent. Double jointed knees, then his ankle here, forward and back, rotation, tilt, rock, and he has toe articulation. And now the coat is going to obstruct the articulation, but not that much. Double jointed elbows can still go in a pretty good amount. Arms can raise up just about this far, not going to go much further. They can go out a pretty decent amount. So the coat is pretty posable, and that's a plus. Here's Batman, trapped on a catwalk, about to face Bane. He throws everything he's got at Bane, but it's simply not enough. Bane proceeds to break the Batman. Here's an image of Bane standing over a broken Batman, hands gripping his vest. Bane has defeated Batman, but the Dark Knight shall rise again. And here's a look at Bane, surrounded by his army of mercenaries. They're taking over Gotham City. And a closer look at Bane, standing on top of the 3 camo tumblers that he stole from Applied Sciences at Wayne Tech. Now let's check him out, next to some other action figures. Starting off with some other Bane figures. Here's this gold label coat Bane, next to McFarlane's Build-A-Figure Bane for The Dark Knight Rises. They're also making a Target exclusive gold label Build-A-Figure Jokerized Bane. These are all the pieces I have so far. And here he is, next to the Mafex version of The Dark Knight Rises Bane. The Mafex Bane came with alternate arms and a removable coat, so you can make both different looks. McFarlane also achieved that with this figure. And then here he is, next to Mattel's version of Bane. This is part of their Movie Master line. He had the coat on too. It's a nice figure, but definitely dated at this point. Mattel also made a shirtless Bane from the sewer scene. Many years ago, I bought an extra one of each of those figures, did some part swapping, and then you have Bane as he was when he broke Batman's back. I can't believe Mattel didn't release that Bane. They already had all the parts. And back when Mattel was making their Movie Masters, I bought a bunch of Bane figures. I customized almost every look from the film. From left to right, we have the shirtless Bane from the sewer scene. Then we have Bane with a black sweatshirt underneath from the final fight. And then we have a torso-cracked Bane to make Bane from when he broke Batman's back. And then we have the official Mattel release in the coat. Then we have one with a black leather jacket on with a red motorcycle helmet from when he has escaped the stock exchange. And then a coat Bane with no shirt on. That's just from extra fodder pieces. Here he is, next to a small shitty Bane figure from The Dark Knight Rises. Now let's check him out, next to some Bane figures from different various companies. Here he is, next to the McFarlane Rebirth Mega Figure Bane. Then, with McFarlane's Last Night on Earth Build-A-Figure Bane. Here are all the different McFarlane DC Multiverse Bane figures they've made so far. We have a total of 4 of them. The next one coming is the Jokerized Bane. And I would be shocked if McFarlane didn't give us a Nightfall Batman vs. Mega Figure Bane 2-pack, just like they did with Superman vs. Doomsday. Seems like a no-brainer. And here, next to Storm Collectibles Injustice Bane. Then, with all my DC Direct and DC Collectibles Bane figures. And now, with all my different Mattel Bane figures. Here's this Bane, next to the Mafex version of Bane. Then, next to a Yamato Bane. And now, with a couple of older Kenner Bane figures. Here are all of my different Bane figures. I believe I have all of them in the 6 and 7 inch scale. Here's Bane holding his teddy bear Osito. This came with a chase variant of the Mattel DC Superheroes Bane. Here's Bane next to Zombie, Trog, and Bird. These are customs of his henchmen from the Nightfall comic. Then, next to another custom Bird. This is the version from Arkham Origins. Now let's check him out. Next to some other McFarlane Dark Knight Trilogy figures. Here he is with the rest of his wave. These are the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive gold label Dark Knight Trilogy figures. At least in America, they're San Diego Comic-Con exclusive and McFarlane Toy Store exclusive. In Canada, they're GameStop exclusives. We have Joker as Bank Robber Thug, Bane with his coat, and then Joker as he appeared in Batman's Sonar Vision. And here he is, next to the original Dark Knight Trilogy wave, collector build Bane from that Dark Knight Rises. And now, with some Target exclusive Jokerized versions of the Dark Knight Trilogy figures. So far they've made Batman and Joker, but they're obviously going to complete the rest of the wave, which is going to give us a Jokerized Two-Face, Jokerized Scarecrow, and a Jokerized Bane. Now let's check him out. Next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to Abyss. Abyss is a brand new Batman villain from the Collector's Edition line. There's a Platinum Chase variant of each of those Collector's Edition figures. I am on the hunt for all of them. If anybody happens to get one, doesn't want it, drop me a line in the comments below. I'm sure we can work something out. And here he is, next to some more San Diego Comic-Con exclusive figures. We have the 85th anniversary Superman, the 30th anniversary Nightfall Batman, the Page Puncher Sketch Mr. Freeze, and the Dark Knight's Metal, Alan Scott Red Lantern. Then, next to the Blue Beetle movie figures, we have regular Blue Beetle, Battle Boy Blue Beetle, and Carapace. And now, with some recent McFarlane Toy Store exclusive gold label figures, we have Superman in his Unchained Armor, the Patina variant, Catman, Dick Grayson Robin, and Kyle Rayner Blue Lantern. Here's Bane, next to the Target exclusive Superman vs. Doomsday 2-pack. And here he is, with some Target exclusive Jokerized figures. Then, with even more Target exclusive figures, Sinister Corps Batman, Ted Corps Blue Beetle, Flash War Impulse, and Deadman. And now, with the Target exclusive Flashpoint Wave, Aquaman, Project Superman, and the Barry Allen Flash. Here's Bane, next to the Injustice 2 3-pack, Batman, Supergirl, and Dr. Fate. And here he is, next to some recent Walmart exclusive gold label figures. We have the Vampire, Joker, Batman and Superman, Captain Atom, Beast Boy, and Eradicator. Then, with the goofy head sculpt Reaper Superman vs. Ultraman 2-pack. And now, with the most recent Batman wave, we have the Nightfall Batman, Batman Incorporated Batwing, and the Batman Reborn Two Faces Batman. Here's Bane, next to the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive black and white accent Superman and Flash. Then, with the fifth wave of Page Punchers, this is a Batman-themed wave fighting the Frozen. We have Batman, Robin, Batgirl, and Mr. Freeze. There's a Platinum Chase variant of Batgirl out there, and I'm on the hunt for her. And finally, next to the most recent Build-A-Figure wave, this is the Titans wave, Collectible Beast Boy. Now let's check them out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you know which lines you can mix them with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, with some more McFarlane toys, these are from different various video game properties. And now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, here's Bane, next to a bottle of limeade. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here he is, standing with some NECA figures. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collective figures. Then, with some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here he is, with some Mayfix figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, this is a very good Bane figure. I'm really happy to finally have a 7-inch scale Bane figure. The Movie Master Bane, the Mayfix Bane, they're great, but they're just way too small compared to the rest of what I have, and Bane shouldn't be a little puny shrimp. I love the Build-A-Figure Bane. Paint job could be better, but he has that look to him. He's big, he's tall, massive, intimidating, the sculpt, it's all there. Now this is the exact same figure, less hands, but he has the coat. And I'll tell you, it's a fantastic action figure coat. I know I'm repeating myself, but I just don't think it works for the Bane coat. If it was maybe enhanced, dirtier, some weathering, etc., maybe I might be able to sort of accept it. But for now, I just think it looks too clean and too sort of fake. That being said, the figure's great, the coat is great, just needs to look a little bit different to be a proper Bane coat. If I were to rate this guy, I think I'm going to give him a 7.5 out of 10. Very nice figure, very nice coat, just something a little off there. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.